We are live here from driving sales in Vegas, so we're a little bit less smooth than we normally are. Coming to you live is the AutoHub show, changing automotive one show at a time with Ian and Jeff. And here we go.
Said you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Hi, I'm Gail Rubenstein, the founder and CEO of a company called Retail Resilient, social selling for the car industry. And we help auto dealers, auto agencies, and vendors in the auto industry sell more cars, service more cars, and make more money using our social selling strategy. That includes TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and anything else you can think of. So if you're looking to invest thousands and make millions, we're definitely the social selling company for you. Like I said, who said you can't teach an old dog new tricks?
If you run a service drive, you know these days first impressions matter. But when your advisors are tied up with inbound phone calls, they tend to neglect their other, more important duties. And did you know 75% of all service calls are frequently asked questions and routine requests? Still, the average dealer misses up to 30% of inbound calls, adding up to a ton of missed service opportunity and increased customer churn. 68% of callers actually go elsewhere if they can't get through, which means you could be losing $60,000 to $70,000 every month in service revenue simply from missing calls. So who will pick up? Introducing Brooke.
Hi there.
Your best service scheduling assistant. Brooke is the first intelligent digital voice assistant to answer, handle, and appoint all of your inbound service calls. And talking to Brooke is like talking to a friend with human-level understanding in a friendly conversational voice. Her conversational intelligence is built on millions of actual service industry conversations. Book with Brooke today. Visit Brooke.ai or call 866-942-1236. Finally, the perfect match.
See that light above the bathroom door over there? That's a big time saver for our technicians and other recon staff. The light goes on when the bathroom is occupied. Now techs keep working until the light goes out. Then they know for sure the room is empty. Too often, the search for the right product burns valuable time. This inexpensive detailer's cart organizes supplies. Now techs lay their hands on what they need without delay. We got these time savers from Rapid Recon, the reconditioning software company that's always defining better reconditioning solutions for dealerships like yours. When the goal is to get cars through recon in 72 hours or less, every step, every minute, every better decision made helps towards that goal. For more recon efficiency ideas like these, talk to the recon experts at rapidrecon.com.
Larry Feldman is probably the most amazing trainer that I've ever experienced in this business. I've been in the car business now for 35 years, and I've seen quite a few trainers. A lot of them are pretty good. I mean, really, I get something out of all of them that I've seen, really. But Larry is in another class. I really mean that. His training is literally riveting. A little while back, I sat in on his first training that I ever sat in on. It was for new hires. I still remember. I'll never forget it. About 25 people in the room who'd never sold cars before. And after 2 hours, I raised my hand. Larry stopped what he's doing and said, yes. And I said, maybe we should take a break. And literally, I'll never forget it. All 25 people turned around, looked at me, and went, well, okay. And he kept going for another 2 hours. Since then, I've seen a few other of his trainings. I've hired people out of his classes. All I can say is, you got to give him a try.
Yes, we do know what we're doing.
I'm going to introduce 3 books, and then we'll go from there. So the books are The Toyota Way, Future of Automotive Retail, and Once Upon a Car by Bill Black. So Jeff, maybe you can go over the
Well, good morning, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. As always, the views and opinions expressed here by our guests can be sometimes controversial, always fun, but not necessarily the views of the AutoHub show or Ian Polo, Ian Nethercott or Jeff Polo. It's an early morning for us. And thank you. Please check out our website for all the details.
So obviously here at Driving Sales, so it's a little bit too late to use your discount code. It's the last day today. But if you are planning on attending the used car in San Diego, we will have more details shortly. That's in next week. So go ahead, Jeff, and let's introduce.
Well, good morning. We have a plethora of guests here today. We're going to actually introduce our online people because they've been patiently waiting and watching us. And first of all, we have Peter Smith joining us from the great Green North. Peter, can you introduce yourself? Tell us about yourself, please.
Peter Smith, new venture local line that helps better their operations through data analysis.
Perfect. Thank you for joining us. Joining us from the land of the Lone Star State, our very good friend and hopefully new owner of an AutoHub hat, Tim Hayden. Tim, please introduce yourself and tell us a bit about yourself.
CEO of Brain Trust. We help about it. More about data.
Fantastic, thank you. And live we have here, when I said plethora, oh my golly gee willikers, we have some of our favorite people. We're going to leave our sponsors till the end because you know something, it's nice to have them live. But next to us here, we have Alan from Fuse, because Alan, I don't want to mispronounce your last name. And Alan, please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit more. And that's Alan.
Good morning, I'm Alan Fresh from Fuse Autotech. I'm the Director of Industry Relations, and it is a pleasure to be on the podcast this morning.
Wonderful. Thank you for being here. We had a really fun ambush interview with him and Ray Selby yesterday. You got to check it out. Next to it, who has precisely 9 seconds for introduction, needs no introduction, is our good friend Larry Feldman of Career Changers USA and now Canada. Larry, please say hello, introduce yourself.
Hello, Larry Feldman, as he said, President of Career Changers USA, and I'm standing next to Don Graff and Gail Rubenstein. I am now officially announcing greeter. Hello, folks.
Good morning.
Don Graff, your turn.
Don Graff, President of Don Graff Advisors. We're currently engaged with many BDC operations repairing the damage that has been done during COVID. Here's Gail.
Oh, no. That I've got to do a much better introduction than that. Those of you who watch us, our regulars, know that Gail is our platinum sponsor. She's a very good friend of ours, of mine. We've known each other, I don't know, since she was 6, and now she's 19. So, you know, that's just only been 13 years.
A little bit older than that.
A little bit, but
I was going to do a much longer introduction, but
now she's mostly famous for who can't teach an old dog new tricks. Gail, please say hello.
Hi, everybody. It's amazing to be here with the AutoHub show, guys, in Las Vegas. And I'm happy to be part of the show today, live and in person.
Yay! Ian, let's get everybody rolling here. We've got a lot of people here. Ian and I promised to speak little, and by the way, we are wearing our limited edition Retail Resilient shades.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Gail. Yeah, what?
Nope, not yet.
No problem. So, just for everyone in the live studio audience, we're going to be asking some interesting questions this morning. If you did watch the video this morning, feel free to send us an email, ianandjeff@autohub.com. Have to say the link. It's a car salesman talking about ordering cars, which is not hugely interesting, but kind of interesting just based on car sales. So, as we go through a new model based on last week's show, we were talking about the OEM and manufacturers. Do you really think that we're going to go to the order-only model for new cars? And let's start with Larry.
I don't see it in the very immediate future. We've had some incredibly talented people at my dealership order cars and occasionally get something wrong. The idea of making it self-serve, I don't think it's going to work. And if they ever turn it over to customers, Alan, you're talking about the true nightmare of all nightmares. Agree?
I think that the big issue really is market share for OEM. So if we're doing a build-to-order model, let's say I'm Ford, because they've been very public about the future of build-to-order. What's Hyundai's reaction? They're adding dealerships across North America. And this is a prime opportunity for a manufacturer like that. With cars on the lot, Americans particularly want immediate gratification. This lasts as long as Ford maintains market share.
Right. Don, did you have any thoughts?
I have to agree. I believe that that's exactly what's going to happen. I'm in Southwest Florida, and I see Hyundai grabbing market share. I see another new Genesis dealer just popped up in Fort Myers. Of course, they just had the storm, so they have a shortage of product, but they are going to grow in that market. And we see that Ford is being deprived of product currently. I have a Ford dealer client in northern New Jersey, and he's complaining to me that every time it looks like he's going to get more product, they get less product. And they just cut his allocation of Ford F-150s, which he believes as long as they produce that vehicle, they're golden. But if they stop producing that vehicle, they're in big trouble.
Tim, did you have any thoughts on the future of factory orders from a McDonald's model? Like, did you want fries with that? What do you think?
Well, I mean, let's look at consumer life. I'm here in Austin, Texas. I've been grocery they do it to weeks about so you're having to your house, right? To go to work, and it's a lot of times you know, just in time manufacturing. Take a step back from the expectation of the consumer goods from the consumer software sales because outside now that they build the price engine that you should get the consumer that's what happened. I just think that it's something that that's the base now. And qualifying as so
Interesting. So, do you think they'll add fries to that build model?
they'll do fine.
Oh, okay.
And barbecue.
And barbecue. Peter, did you have any thoughts?
The issue with consumer basically saying it's for consumer. You're instant gratification is most purchasing. They don't understand if it's supply chain issue. And due to the transitioning to the direct consumer is going to increase satisfaction because any delay is going to they're going to need to go back to the dealership. And dealership, when you invest all the money, is going to get reflectively to the consumer. The inventory becomes a challenge that the manufacturer sees as a direct consumer. And it's not. You're going to have to, and your brand is still going to drive the pricing. Right now, we're in a paradox that we just don't great solution for the consumer. Just we haven't had to deal with consumers that chain issues. We haven't educated the team members how to supply into these supply chain issues. I don't think here there's a street.
So, do you think people are going to wait 2 years?
You can not, it will. It will change dynamics. Like, for example, my wife wants to know.
Okay.
Now that's replacement vehicle appreciation products. So people will pivot, and if they're smart enough and educated sales rep, that's how they're you know, if I was back in a dealership, I'd have these difference. I've been every year I've been because used pricing is at its approach now, and they'll be making money as they go on and
Thanks for that. Gail, did you have any thoughts on factory ordering a vehicle? I know you have an experience with Jeep lately.
Oh, yeah.
Factory order, or would you have factory ordered that car?
I probably would have because I knew what I wanted, but I find that we've been speaking about disruptive innovation for the last 24 hours, and whether it's a bad thing or a good thing, and I actually think it's a good thing. So if dealers can pivot and adjust and change, they'll still be able to be profitable and they'll still have a wonderful, thriving business. Yes, it's part of the marketplace. It's part of it just change happens and you have to just adjust with it. So I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it'll create new, interesting opportunities for car dealers. And as I always say, they're retail resilient. So they will figure it out. Hold on. Let me represent. They are retail resilient. They will figure it out. Car dealers are the most resilient people I've ever met in my life. So, yeah.
Well, it's a very good point. We are resilient. And Peter, when you made that point about if you get a good sales rep and you put your factory order in, if you got a smart sales rep, they're going to say, now, by the way, I know you want to make a deal now on something. Let's get your order in on your 2029 Range Rover electric, whatever, which will come whenever. And but let's get you into this used one a day while you're waiting and maybe work a trade value. But my question is, and I'm actually going to go to Tim, is because you're sort of in and out of the car business. You as a semi-consumer, or semi-car dealer, as a full consumer, what's going to happen if you decide to order your shiny new product today? Now, it happens to be, I hate to say it, domestic, and the manufacturer gets an ability to start building vehicles in 6 months, and your product, almost identical, arrives on the lot, and you're locked into a factory order. What are you going to do? Wait for that factory order, the one in the color you want with the equipment you want, or go for something right away sitting on the lot?
So, if you points the store is there. You can get one line. So better case. What you describe. I think it's kind of like it, but it doesn't have all the I think
Thank you.
It's 5 conditions, and something that brings to market. They know this thing is $200 to $500, $2,000 down. But they are having to pay usually for a year or 2 years for that product to show up. So that's the very different business. Since we can't talk about this. I think we're talking 15% of the aggregate consumer. There's two things that happen. There's that which is that place.
Hey, Tim. Two musical references. Okay, the first one is my Philadelphia resident Jerry Butler, who said only the strong survive. And like every other crisis we've ever been through, the people that adapt, that change, that understand, that are retail resilient, that'll be $10 more, Gail, are going to roll. The other one is, we'll jump to Joni Mitchell. I'm usually more rock oriented. You don't know what you got till it's gone. We're slime car salesmen. We're scum of the earth. Try doing some of this stuff on your own. Try maneuvering some of these things and see how quickly they start to appreciate it. You can't see on camera, but Don is actually hugging me when I said that. He can feel the warmth right now.
If you break into a chorus of "Can You Feel the Love Tonight," you're out of here, okay? So, 2, 1.
Can you? Oh, and I'm the only one saying
right along before we lose it.
Notice that Gail pointed to everybody. I'm the only one that sang. There is the basic model for the OEM. We're in this together. Have fun.
So, Alan, what do you think is going to happen? Because, again, there's orders. I know a fella that put orders in for some electric vehicles, different brands, and they were 2 years out. All of them arrived. All the different brands, he got notices within 2 weeks of each other that they were coming in a month, and he had to figure out which one he wanted because they gave him literally a day. So what's going to happen, do you think, with people that are ordering today? Some are being forced to order, and something happens to the supply by the summer.
Well, let me comment again just on the whole order process. I think that the reason people are special ordering is only two reasons. One, I can't get what I want, and I'm very specific, and I know that if I order it, they will build it for me. The other reason is what I want isn't on the lot. It's not available. There's no selection. There's very few people saying, I'm really excited about a new car. I hope I get one in 9 months. They're saying, I'm excited about a new car. Let's go look at new cars today and buy one. And I think, there are other factors here. We take the manufacturing side of the business and say, all of these factories, typically a car factory makes about 250,000 cars a year. Some people build double factories, making $500 million a year. Those have to run at above 80% capacity to be profitable. Regardless of whether you have orders or not, you have to run that factory or you got no hope. The plans for a factory are made well in advance. They're not made when I'm thinking of my new car. They were made a year or two before what model's going to be built. Now, manufacturing is getting much more flexible than it used to be, but still, this is a very cumbersome supply chain, and that's why there's this inventory buffer. This inventory buffer that sits on dealers' lots.
Not to mention the economics for anyone to buy anything retail is getting more intimidating every day. I mean, we're talking about a point not too long ago where interest rates were incredibly low, availability was easy and plentiful, and now we're in the exact opposite. And I don't even want to think about what's going on in Florida, because generally speaking, car dealers are opportunists. And if, God forbid, there's a flood, a hurricane, a tornado, it's sad, but it's also a profit event.
Yeah, thank you. That's very good.
A situation where there were no cars to begin with, and now you have people that literally have no car.
We get dogs, that's the resident.
Yeah, they're talking about, in my market up in southwest Florida, Bonita Springs, that there's a loss of up to 200,000 vehicles in that market. And you have dealers like Sutherland, Mr. Sutherland with the Nissan stores. He was on LinkedIn asking for other dealers to send him a few cars, and he would reciprocate as time went on. And I was out driving around my community and looking, and you can't go up towards Fort Myers because those roads are closed, and those car dealers are not there. They're just repairing the lot and getting those cars ready to be shipped elsewhere or getting their insurance agents. So very few dealers are safe. You have to really go over to Miami, where we escaped for 4 days. We're in Miami Lakes, where the enormous facilities. I'm just blown away by how large the real estate is that AutoNation and the other dealers have there. Acres and acres and acres of vehicles. And I'm sure they're going to be selling those to the dealers on the other side of the...
Now the demand is with the dealers rather than consumers.
Yeah.
One other proviso, you indicated that Don was a resident of Florida. I am proud to announce that he did meet a showgirl last night. We are in Vegas named Lola. He may be moving here. Mrs. Graff, sorry to let you know in this unkind fashion. Again, she's singing.
Lola.
Still in Florida, and I have a good example of Kelly Automotive Group. They're in Lakeland, Florida, and we ran an ad on their social for them saying, like, we are here to help anybody that was in Fort Myers. We're here to service them, anything we can do to assist. So they have a lot of people. Not only do they have inventory, but they actually have people going out there to help rebuild because, I mean, it is devastating there. And I'm on the other side of Florida. I had tornadoes and fences down and trees down, but I had no flooding. So, but a lot of dealer groups are helping that are on that side in the Tampa area. Yeah.
Well, it is certainly quite the thing, and actually on the news this morning, on Fox News, they're talking about, be careful of all these cars, check your Carfax. But we do have some comments here, and Ian, would you mind reading the comments, because you're in front of them?
Sure. Too strong up the thinking that the debate is always going to be critical. Things fly into the account. When they get resolved, the partner built on certain price. Let's look at the example of Tesla tooling, for example. It was, anyone want to comment on the European dealership model, where basically dealerships have inventory and manufacture houses for them? Anyone want to comment on whether
We were talking a lot about that yesterday, actually. So,
Let's stay close.
okay.
So maybe Larry should.
Hold on, I'll
let's get
text
friendly, boys.
Dan, but talk into here.
You could jump.
Okay, so yesterday, Jared Hamilton and Rory, a professor from Harvard, were on stage and they were talking about that exact thing, like direct to consumer. So the dealership's not involved in that process of new car delivery at all. And they were talking about whether that is an opportunity, and do we have to change our playbook and how we play as car dealers, and what is that going to look like? I don't know if it's necessarily a bad thing. That's kind of what we're here for. We're discovering if direct to consumer, how it's going to affect the dealers, how they're going to operate their businesses, and what changes are going to need to happen. But Tesla, I think they were saying Tesla did 1 million vehicles last year, direct to consumer. I think it was 1 million.
Well, if you look at Genesis, you look at the Genesis model, just the Canadian market, what they do is they provide the dealers with one example of each model, and then they pull it out of inventory nationally. So they basically use the same model. I actually worked for Results, they did sales in the UK, where they go in and sell 20 cars, and the dealer had like 3 used cars and no new cars. So then they had to wait for the cars to show up. So that, I think, might be a challenge, just because the expectation of instantaneous delivery in the US has been ingrained for a long time. So once inventory comes back, our customers really going to wait for the OEM to deliver.
Well, and that's the fact is you when you look at a lot of European places, there's some big dealers, and they have precisely the number of cars it takes to fill the showroom. But they're used to it, and Ian just said that. Peter, you made a comment here, and
treated like perfection. So that needed to adopt it because it's like less than an hour. That was the best part of it. Being also went to work in so there is two unique things they have. A unique license plate system where the license plate can have and stays in the car. So we can purchase for that license plate. Because we talked in the sales on the video talking a lot. It didn't matter when the car was sold, it was that car bought. So if you have a car in 4 years and it was sold in 2022, it would include the 12 years. And that's how it was ready. So with inventory. So the second thing is Tesla's and direct consumer. Tesla basically started with units as a cause of Tesla for many years. And it was $2,000 you had to pay Tesla, and basically locked in that $2,000 box. Now on Cybertrucks and everything else, it's $250. If you want to buy enough goods, Ford is $250. Everyone's lowering their deposit in the consumer, and literally walk away from a lot more than they're asking for. And just for this case, because $550 it's a cheap things all over Ontario. To get that the loss of
well, we definitely have to go against the whole different way of thinking in North America, especially the last few years before we led up to the pandemic. You walk in, what color you want, there it is. And it's just a question of what you want to add it, and can we get you rolled out the door before you come out of the ether. Ian, next question.
Well, we're gonna ask Tim. He's been patiently waiting.
Oh, Tim, I am so sorry. I thought I asked you. Okay, then forget Tim. So moving, no, go ahead.
Do you have any thoughts on this?
Yeah, it's
Okay, but the question is, Tim, is somebody going to wait to factory order a Kia Rio and put down their $250 deposit and wait, or are they going to wait, get a phone call from the Hyundai guy with the Hyundai accent that they got ready for delivery?
Doing some technical copies. That's too long.
We're well acquainted with wait times. We have Carvana down in the States.
Actually, my plan is to take my my order on the Cybertruck, and just before it comes, sell it to some guy for $10,000 for profit. So,
Yeah, let me attest
your question, Ian's question. Sorry.
Hold on. Go ahead.
I believe this is a marketplace where disruptors like Hyundai are going to take advantage of dealer providers or manufacturers like Ford or whoever think they're going to have a long waiting list. That's not going to occur. We're used to getting a product, and Hyundai is certainly, and other innovators like them have shown that they can circumvent this supply chain situation. They haven't been hurt as badly by the COVID bug, so to speak, with getting supply as the other manufacturers. The Koreans have not been hurt as badly.
Yeah, I mean, I know there was some speculation in the early days that they had stockpiled chips. But I also saw, and we had a guest on the show, the dealership in Alberta, and he said that he bought all the base pickups he could find because nobody wanted them. And he's even buying more luxury ones where basically they said, listen, when we get the chips, we'll upgrade those features so they work.
Well, and that's you speak of disruptors. We talk all, Ford wants to go to this, order model direct from to the factory. Stellantis is going to sit there and say, no. And they're building all those Ram Classics like crazy.
So, next question, Jeff, I guess.
You, please. It's your turn.
All right. So, when you look at the percentage based on each demographics, I think younger demographics are more open to changes because they haven't had as much track record behind vehicles as, say, the older folks in the room, not to mention names. So, what do you think the difference in adoption would be from, say, that millennial and younger that's now over 40% of the population? Let's start with Gail.
But before you answer that one, what's the percentage are going to get manual transmissions? Yeah. I want this on record. I want this on record. This is the longest period of time that
I've ever been
has not been talking.
I just think change is good. I like what you were saying. My generation, to me, that doesn't make a difference. I would order a car straight from the factory. I would order my Jeep Wrangler hybrid with the convertible top. I'd wait for it, and when it comes to my house, I'd be excited. Do I love the car dealers I work with and would like to go there and hang out and like have them, do my paperwork and deliver it to me? Yeah, but it's the same thing to me as if it was dropped off at my house by a manufacturer. So as long as the customer service is there, for me, the price is right and the customer service is right, I don't really care where I got a car from. That might sound really bad.
No, it's a generational thing, because when she said my generation, all I could think of was The Who. Once again, another dated musical.
What are we singing now?
Nah, Moon is dead. Let him rest.
So speaking of generations,
Wait a minute, I'm Anita. I mean, I could start TikToking.
We're going to take a short break while I switch places with Ian. I thought I was crazy.
No?
you know, it's too bad Peter and Tim, you guys aren't here. It's a fun time.
So,
I think the whole market's been so disruptive that anything can happen. But I don't see these dealers rolling over with these big investments they have, and manufacturers are still making them update their facilities. I have clients that are not increasing their marketing or increasing their training budget with me or my colleague because they have a mausoleum that's half completed that they still have to continue to put a floor in, or they have the same supply of food. Their wood isn't coming, or the glass isn't coming. And now, especially if they're building a facility, God forbid, in Florida, who knows when they're going to complete that facility.
So you mean fancy tiles specified by the manufacturer?
No, they're all specified by the manufacturer, believe me. They sell them, they're necessary.
Anyone else want to come on this side?
Alan.
I think it's both.
Okay.
I think it's both. So let's use an analogy to the electronics business. If there's a new iPhone or something with new features that's rare, I want to be first. I want to have that. I will stand in line. I will place my order. Most of the time when I go to get a utilitarian product, let's say a Chevy Equinox, okay, I'm not going to wait 6 months for an Equinox. Okay, that's a grocery getter. That's a get-to-work car. That doesn't say a lot about my identity as a consumer, other than I'm practical and I can afford the payment. A Lexus, Tesla, that's an expression of who I am to my public. And I might wait, I will place an order for a vehicle like that. However, if I happen to roll up to a Tesla dealer and I'm looking for a red Model S and they have one to sell, I'm not going to say, oh, I prefer to wait 6 months. I'm going to say, oh, well, take that. I'm so cool. You know, and I think that the build to order thing, what we're looking at as example, are rare products or exclusive products that have a special meaning to them. Of course, GP3. Okay.
I think you nailed it with, it's an expression of yourself. So a Jeep Wrangler is an expression of myself. I do yoga and I surf. I will wait for that car because it's my identity almost.
Yeah, you can line them up.
It's like
Everything to get a picture of
your
awesome lifestyle.
Right. No, but you were saying you would wait for something that is an expression of you.
That's right. So all of these brands, vehicles in particular, say something about us. And there's a whole segment of customers that go, they don't really care. It's
right.
I'm not a car person. I used to get to work, carry my family around. There's a whole bunch of other people that go, wouldn't be caught dead in a Ford.
Right.
Like Chevy people.
Right.
Wouldn't be caught dead in a Lexus because I'm be a country guy.
Right.
Okay, so when it's that important to your identity, your lifestyle, sure you're going to work.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I was talking to a gentleman the other day coming to Japan, and he was driving the Rivian with his kid. I was interested in his experience with them, and it was interesting looking at sort of his demographic versus, say, your Tesla customer. I think he's definitely closer to that domestic pickup customer, which is kind of interesting. So it's an electric car. So I agree with you 100%. When you look at that new vehicle, I think it's called the ID Buzz, which is the electric. People are going to wait, guaranteed.
Especially Supergirl.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I gotta have my convertible Wrangler. Oh wow, maybe. Actually, I probably would have.
So I think Peter or Tim have
Right.
That goes back to the old thing, more resilient than car dealers is human nature. Yeah. Because what Alan said has always been true, or else there wouldn't be Ferraris being sold. People would just all drive the same thing. And people won't discuss when the wrongs don't show back up. Unfortunately, see an 80-year-old Mick Jagger keep records. We won't
Driving a Ferrari?
we won't only have we want it. The only difference is we're in a position with people that are more in the middle, or maybe a little more generic than what they're looking for. People still get it.
But
I want to go back to your point for a second on the forgetting a salesperson's name is because many times they have not been encouraged to brand themselves. Now, lately, you have dealers that are encouraging salespeople to brand themselves. We have an awful situation where salespeople many times don't contact their own customers after they sell the car. They do not stay in contact with them to say, "How are you doing? Do you have a friend that's interested in the vehicle?" So on and so forth. In fact, I was at my dealership a couple months ago, and I ran into my salesperson's manager, and I said, "Your salesperson is very nice. They're very cordial. We're in Naples, and they're very subdued in Naples, but he didn't contact me. He could have sold me another car." So the sales manager gave me his business card, and we were working together to get a sale. But in the meantime, the storm came, and that disrupted that. But I'm still a loyal customer there, as I service my car with them, and the service people are in contact with me, and their BDC operative, that is their follow-up person for the service, contacts me to make sure that I'm giving them a favorable survey, but it doesn't follow up with the salesperson. So there's a breakdown in how they're being taught how to communicate with the customer. That's why we're forgetting their names.
We're probably a little ahead of ourselves, but the rumor is that the NAPA, they're going to announce a partnership with Nurture USA, so people can be trained and remember the salespeople's names. It's not annoying.
None of that matters.
Nice.
None of that
Yeah.
matters.
You know what? Great.
Here's why it doesn't matter. Currently, salesperson turnover in the United States is 60% in most dealerships.
80 in Nissan.
And higher in some franchises. If I'm in the mood for a new car in 3 years, statistically, my salesperson has disappeared. So regardless of what you teach them, it doesn't matter. They're in another industry. They've left.
Not if they've been trained properly and they're nurtured by the right management.
The statistics say that nationally, that's not
There's
true.
an old expression, she doesn't know it, she's a different generation. There's lies, van lies, and statistics. Okay? I came up as a salesman and wound up being a dealer. We got some gentlemen here that came up as sales. I don't know what the hell she's selling. Where is she doing it great?
Where does the 60% turnover number come from? If you dispute it,
It's
well,
That's not disputing it.
absolutely true. That's why it's in business.
Yeah, listen, it's the 80-20 rule. But tree staff at dealerships and all
We do.
departments, maybe she can give us some numbers from a millennial.
I actually don't have statistics. I'd be like blowing smoke.
She's into surfing.
So I'll be 100% on. I don't have statistics, but we have dealers that have loyal salespeople, and we have dealers that have like rotating doors. We have it all. So I can't give you the specific numbers.
Here's a question, guys. So we've got the four of you here that are kind of picking up at each other's sides. And Gail, could you stand between Larry and Alan here? We don't want to fight. But and of course we've got Tim and Peter online. I'm going to ask. I want a short answer to this, please. And this is loosely related to factory orders, because I think factory orders are being made for two reasons. That's okay, Tim. You can put it in a second. I'll ask you first. People are putting orders in for only two reasons. One, they can't get the car, or two, they haven't met the right person to help them get a car now. Because you can, Peter found a car now. He just put the effort in, and somebody else didn't. But why, Tim? You can answer the previous comment too. But why do you think salespeople continue to turn over, and whose fault is it?
Leader. The leader of the dealership.
Environment.
It's the dealer. Yeah. I can't hear him either.
Not even
Hey, Tim, we're having a little trouble hearing you because we're at the driving sales summits and be noisy. I alluded to was a difference in behavior. The esteemed gentleman to my right, that's you, man. Quoted 60%, and my soon-to-be engaged to the stripper, Lola, graph included. So let's pull out another damn statistic. 50% of the marriages end in divorce, and they always end with "till death do we part." But I don't see if we die and just get.
And there is less training at marriages.
Way less training. Sorry, I train all the men.
We all agree there's less brand loyalty.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm a little older than Gail, okay? I don't have a retail resilience because, I back her 100%. But when I got into the business, if you tried to sell somebody a Japanese car and they happened to be a veteran, World War II, man, if you paid them, they would take a Japanese. Everything changes. So I'm not arguing with you that there's 60% turn up. I'm just telling you that I train, I'm not bragging, and so I train people that are going to be managers. In every position, it's just our society leans towards empowerment.
Yeah. Well, actually, I just want to turn to Peter, because Peter made a comment here. And Peter, I'll ask you this, but very interesting. A comment I've also heard is that people are turning away from Tesla because there isn't somebody there that they can talk to that they know. So, Peter, your opinion on this, and then
I have a comment about to add to what Peter said.
So it's so so last year, people because people
Okay, well, wasn't you telling us that then they ended up writing it off or something?
Same one had great Teslas. Yeah. Okay.
I got interrupted, Peter. You just said the magic word, my brother. Empathy.
And that's and when you take a training, perfect.
You did say that how much things have changed, and I guess you're right, because if it was 1962 as opposed to 2022, I guess we wouldn't be waiting for the Rolling Stones to come back and a threat of a nuclear war with Russia. I'm just saying.
Moving right along, we're running out of time shortly. Gail, we'll just.
Oh, my last comment. If a sales associate cannot switch someone on a vehicle, it is 100% on the leader of the dealership. I've run car dealerships. I've built businesses from scratch. It is on you. If you hire someone and you can't train them and you don't give them those skill sets, that's on you. If you give them those skill sets and they can't do the job, that's on them.
But Gail, so what you're telling me is leaders should not use the term "the buck stops with them."
Right.
Right. John, your last point on this, just the turnover.
Organization at the time, the Flemington Car and Truck Country, was an incredibly process-oriented and people-oriented organization. Took care of their staff, took care of the customer, and believed in retention. The database of retention customers was enormous. Enormous.
Yeah, that flowed from.
This guy was the most gentleman anybody ever said.
And he gave great sums away to take care of his public and the people that were in distress at any time, any place. And it's that nurturing way that, and many dealers have this capability, but I think that they're not engendering it down into their sales managers and the rest of their staff. I see it all the time, and I'm talking to Larry about doing more recon. We talk about reconning the staff. Well, why do we have to keep renewing that? I agree with Alan. I see this every day.
Well, you know,
They're changing.
interesting comment, and then we're going to wrap it up here. But we just mentioned that Alan said 60% or 70% turnover, but also Peter says there's a recent Cox survey that 70% of customers will not return to their selling dealer. So there's a direct correlation there. So that 30% probably goes to the 30% that stay there, but Larry says, Larry's trained people, it's 90%, and the retail resilient TikTok trained is 130% retention. Ian, go.
It'll be at my workshop.
Save the American car industry, higher career changes, what say, Yale Navy.
It's about the team. You have to develop a team.
Yeah, and it starts at the top.
Oh, did you have any final thoughts?
So I do have some last words, and I'll quote Mary Barra.
Okay.
So we've been talking a lot about change. We've been doing a lot of prognosticating. You might be right. You might be wrong. You might be part right. Mary Barra says that the auto industry will change more in the next 5 years than it has in the last 50. And so I think that victory will not go to the strong. It goes to the flexible.
Yep.
It can change and react to
Those that are retail resilient.
never.
That do yoga, very
Selling to the car industry.
Had longer arms, that'd be a better advertisement. You need to get like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Like,
Anyone else have a final?
That's crazy.
I am.
Gentlemen online, Tim and Peter, final thoughts, please.
I think that's nice.
See higher numbers.
Yeah.
It's bad.
Yeah. There's an example of everything.
It's just that's a Cox study that you're quoting. It's,
Thank you, Peter.
that's not old. That's only 2 years ago. All right. Here, Alan. Thank you.
Although I gotta tell you, I have scars on my leg. It can happen.
All your songs over because
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks very much for being on the show. Really appreciate it. One in the Canadian market. Happy Thanksgiving. The U.S. market, happy Columbus Day. And Jeff, final thoughts.
Final thoughts. I guess our live guest ran away on us because the guy's walking around with a xylophone. But thank you. What a great show, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We do appreciate it. A little bit left out of the party here. But great comments and another great show here. And so we're going to leave. Thank you again.
Thank you. Thank you for news.
Awesome. Bye-bye. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining us. It was a great show, and follow us anywhere you would like on your favorite podcast, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, and of course on our YouTube, or subscribe to our own channel.